prisoner of war is not the most dignified way to live. Well, I was born in Bacchus Marsh in 1915. So then I went to school first at Glenmaggie. Then become the whole Depression time, the early part of the Depression. We decided, decided to go down to Yallourn, where there's employment and things like that. The old man got a job down there and everything, and then later on my elder brother started to work there. I was supposed to be at work, to school, but I got out of the habit of going to a school, and so we did some. But we were there for some time, and there was a bakery there next door to that cellar, and I used to go in there, and I become virtually working for Meadows because I enjoyed doing it and everything. And ultimately an ad came for an apprentice, people in Hawthorne Road, Caulfield. And so eventually I came down to start an apprenticeship there. I went to Sydney just after the war started with my motorbike, brand new motorbike. But about that time, the Queen Mary just came in, and that the war had started at that stage, and I think I saw it come in. Then I got back, well, maybe the next place is I might get a trip around the world. Now I better go down and see what the Army's got for me. So I went down, and when I got home, to the Melbourne Town Hall, yes, and signed up, and of course they said, what do you do? I said, the baker. They had a bakery show later on, the Army, but no, and I motorbike rider because I belonged to a club and everything. Oh, right, and what about dispatch rider? But by November, I found myself in Palestine. I went over with a ship, and then we finished up at Colombo. They call it some other name now and everything. And then finally finished up in the Suez Canal, and that took us a train straight through to Colo 89, which is part of the Gaza City. And that's where I did most of my training with the Corps signals in the No. 2 company. In 1940, I was just ready to go. Our first company had moved down into the desert, and we were just there. We had a Christmas lunch there, I think, that day, probably. And then we were taken right down through Beersheba. We come through right down into an area there. So we went down there, and we then moved into the jobs that we were doing. That took into Bardia and Tobruk and Derna, Benghazi, all of those areas. So that's where we got into trouble in dealing into that area. Tempe Gorge was the main battle that was taking place there. They attacked us on the roads, and you had to be watching back and everything, and there was a lot of bluestone fences in Greece, in the rather top areas, up northern part there, and you could see which way they were coming in. You make sure he was coming in that way, you got on the bluestone this side and got behind the bluestones. You might hear the pins coming the way, she'd never hit you. And so we learnt a lot of those things, and that was a daily occurrence and things like that, and day after day that we were putting up with. And so it went on, And then the evacuation was starting to take place, and we suddenly got pulled up in the trucks, and they were going through Larissa, that was the centre of Greece, and suddenly it was stopped because a message come back to us that they'd landed in, the Germans they didn't come through the Salonika Pass, they come through Casino. And they were able to do lots of things. They were so highly mechanised and everything. We finished up back in the seas tried to get out in the hills to get to a place called Valos. We were understood that some of the Navy might have come in there. You must realise, I have to put this, we had no maps, except a couple of tourist maps that was floating around. It was 4:20. Anzac Day in 1941, I became a prisoner of war. None of us were terribly fit because we'd been in the mountains and we'd been walking night after night and things of that nature. And anyway, after 2 or 3 days, I suppose, in this compound, and you see things happen that you never thought I'd ever see happen. And it's amazing what people can do when they're starving. But finally then they decided that they were going to take us back to Germany. By this time, some of us had started to learn that we've got to put up with this now, we've got to find out how's the best way to do it. We were sitting there, it was nice sunny in the morning, and you see this bloke coming down, and he had been walking many times, we noticed him, but he was pretty vague, he didn't know where he was going. Well, something must have snapped because he went straight at the fence. So it's a guard sitting up there and everything, and we're yelling at him to stop because we could see he was out of control. He didn't hear us, he didn't hear the guard, and he grabbed the barbed wire. He wouldn't have felt it, I'm sure of that, everything, and wanted to climb over the fence. And the guard shot him and killed him in front of us. It was then, and I remember this very well, that we're going to finish up the same way. We came home and got in and we found Australia, which was getting on towards 5 years later, and the whole world had changed, but we were back in Australia.